radio.
Do you know where the remote is? I looked all over the house.
Slow down, Tito. Slow down, Tito. Damn. Is that my that's sitting on the curb?
Yo, what's up, guys? We're here with a new episode of podcast number 3, Transparency with Robert Smith. I'm so excited. I have to eliminate the word new because it's not new anymore. This is just an everyday podcast now that people are gonna listen in. And about this podcast, I have conversations with everyday people from different backgrounds, cultures, and unfortunately some millennials are gonna be in this episode like today. So be prepared for that, guys. As you can hear in the background, I have my special guest. She's really cool. This one's really, she's a firecracker. She's super hilarious. So I love talking to her because she actually catches me off guard how much she just says spontaneous things. So it's really hilarious. She's a really good friend of mine. We haven't known each other for a while, but I feel like we're pretty good, when you're able to talk about certain things. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. Today's topic is growing up fast. Growing up fast, I think that I can relate to that, and I think a lot of listeners can relate to growing up fast. Maybe comparing your life to others or something that you've been through in the past. Growing up fast is just something that I think not everyone goes through, but a good majority of people going through. And today we're going to just dive head first, in the ocean with that. And I'm really excited. And I just want to introduce my guest speaker, Bianca Guzman.
Okay, saying it like that.
It wasn't that good, right?
It's fine. It's Guzman, pero
Guzman. Okay.
Está bien.
Yeah, I'm a waste of my kind. Spanish is just not my forte. And That's look like a full-on Latino.
I know, you really do. I thought you were Dominican or something.
I get that so much. Okay, people never think I'm black. They're like, and I know where I'm talking.
Or maybe
I'm
Blaxican.
Yeah, or a black, because I am Cuban, so they think that I'm a black Cuban. Well, no, because black Cubans are dark. They're dark as heck. I don't know. I really, the word is still out. We're still trying to figure it out.
We're still trying to figure you out.
Yes. Well, Bianca, you're here.
Yes.
Excited?
I'm very excited. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this.
I'm so excited to have you. It's going to be a really good episode. How do you feel about the topic so far?
I know a lot about it because I've had to experience it.
Yeah.
So, I think it feels good. I feel like we could get some really good stuff out of this, Keep it real. Let's get it. Let's talk about it. What's up?
I each time I do an episode, I handpick an individual that I feel like will relate to the topic. So with you, I felt like I knew somewhat of an idea of your background, but I chose you because I felt like it would be really good to kind of share perspectives. So really good. And you're a young kid. I honestly, I thought you were so much older, and then you told me, and I was like, damn.
Really? How much older did you think I was?
I thought you were legal,
Oh.
No, she is legal, guys.
I'm 18.
No.
No, I'm not 18. What the heck? I forgot my own age. Okay.
You're 19.
I'm 19.
Yeah, I got you, girl. So it's really good.
Can't drink in the United States, but it'll take me to Mexico.
Can you come back if you? Okay.
Of course. Okay. I have a freaking passport. It's
I'm
all
just
good.
kidding. We all about.
But I am on a list. Remember, I was telling you at the border.
Wait, so you were telling me on the list because you got what happened? You got lost in Mexico. What did you say?
Okay, so what happened is I went to Tijuana. Okay, it was for fun, just to go with some friends and things like that. And so we went, and things are a lot cheaper in Mexico, especially the alcohol. And alcohol here is so expensive. So a couple of us, we went to go, to the liquor store, and we bought a bunch of alcohol. We could have opened up our own mini liquor store, okay? Now, I only had 2 bottles. They had the rest of all the stuff, okay? So, but as we were driving back, trying to go back in, to America, the lady, the officer lady or whatever, she came and she's like, oh, do you have anything to claim? You want to whatever confess? I don't know. And so my friend who was driving, she's like, oh, we just have a pack of beers. We had way more than a pack of beers. Okay, let me tell you something. And so she's like, okay, we'll pop your trunk, so we went. So she looked in the back and she slammed that thing hard, and she's all like, you know what, I was fine, but then you pissed me off because you lied to me. What? And you have a bunch of alcohol in your trunk, and you told me you had a case of beer. Pull up and park. So we had to go up and we had to park. Oh my gosh, my dad's gonna hear this.
Oh.
Dad, don't get mad at me. It's okay. So anyway, so we had to pull up and we had to park and we had to wait in this little detention area.
Wait, the real question is, did they take away the alcohol?
wait.
Ah!
I'm like, get there, okay? so they told us to wait, and they're like, all right, like, leave your stuff, like, don't take anything, not even your cell phones. And so we're like, oh my gosh, like, what's gonna happen to us? I was like, I'm too young to like go to jail, like, you know, they're gonna take advantage of me. So
Chill, bro.
right, so anyway, so they're like, all right, well, listen, like, you have nothing else, it's all this alcohol, don't lie, don't be stupid, we're trying to catch real criminals, we're not trying to catch like people bringing alcohol in here. And we're like, oh, okay, whatever. So they're like, you can't take this back, you know, you have to go back and figure something out. You can't return freaking alcohol. So luckily though, my friend, she has family that lives in Tecate, so we had to drive down there, and it's like late at night at this point.
Wait, Tecate's a place? I thought it was just a drink. Sorry.
Girl, Corona's a place to go to.
Oh yeah.
Okay. so we went to Tecate, and we dropped off all of our alcohol at her aunt's house. I still haven't gotten it back, so I mean, at this point, it's whatever, it's over and done with. And so then we drove back home, and but they told us before we left, like, oh, like, if you know, get caught up in some mess again here at the border, like, we have you on a list, like, you're gonna pay a fine, like this and that and the other. I was like, okay, like, so you know, that was my experience.
So you're famous in Mexico now.
I am. I'm very.
You made it.
Everybody wants to know me.
I'm only on a ban list at like Wingstop, you know, Olive Garden, City of
Disorderly conduct in
Industry.
public. Like, okay.
I'm really like, I'm demand, like, not, I just have, when you go out and eat, I just have a certain criteria you have to meet, and I kind of like explode. That's for another
You're
story.
the let me speak to your manager type of person.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I know how to get free gift cards from Chick-fil-A, like Chick-fil-A all the time. So
okay.
but it's, my power is kind of wearing down. So
You like wink at them, seduce them a little
they're
bit.
like, Robert's here.
I'm like, oh my
They're
God,
like, we have a 2319. We have a 20. That's funny. Okay, let's dive into this topic. Growing up fast.
Anyways.
I think it's what I like to do is like talk about like, you know, a background, how that can relate to you. Either I go first or you go first, because it does kind of relate to me as well. But I'm really curious about yours. So you can flip a coin. Who wants to go first? So you can share.
Ladies first, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So how about that? So how I relate to this topic. So just kind of giving a brief little thing is, so my parents, they had me. I have a brother. He's 25. Wait, how old is he? 24. Oh my gosh. So anyways, so my parents had my brother and I young. My mom was like 18, my dad was like 20 I think. And so they were young, but when I was 2 years old, they got a divorce. And you know, when you're young parents, you're not exactly gonna do the best. You don't have a secure place, so we were always moving back and forth, you know. And my mom, she was doing her thing. We lived with my dad most of the time throughout growing up. I was mainly living with my dad, and my mom was doing her thing. But because they were, you know, divorced and we were living with my dad, he had to take care of us, you know? And so he has to work. And at one point he was working 3 jobs.
Oh, man. And this is just you and your brother, right?
Just me and my brother. So before he was working in car sales, and that was hard for him to take care of us. So he quit that. And, you know, so he had to get 3 jobs to take care of us. And it was just a lot of time being like alone, you know, growing up. And that's actually how like I started when I was younger. Like I said, I did my YouTube thing. It's because I was home alone so much. You know, not that I was neglected. Don't get me wrong.
You know,
like there was
signs.
food, you know.
I'm
I don't know. Maybe I'm a little. I did talk to myself, but you know. And so a lot of the times, like my dad, like he would try his best to be everywhere at once with us, you know. But it's hard when you're working. And my brother, I basically had to take care of him. Like my goodness, you know, even though he's older than me, he's like, you know, boys, like there's
shots fired.
Like, I mean, sorry, like you know what I mean. And so growing up, I had to stay on top of my schooling. I had to make sure like I knew what I was doing, because like my dad was working, and I saw that stress that he had, you know, to take care of us. I never even fully understood it until I was getting older, obviously, because he always made everything seem like it was perfectly okay, you know.
Was there, I don't mean to interrupt you, but was there any, what was your thought when you seen your dad go through that at a young age? Now, did you second guess that, or
no? Well, like seeing him,
or were confused?
Let's say, so we lived in an apartment, right?
Okay.
And he gave my brother and I the rooms, and he slept on the couch for like years. And I remember seeing that and going over to my friend's house, and I was like, that's not normal. Like, their parents have a room, and then their siblings share, you know? And so, but I would see that, and I'd be like, dang, like, my dad really cares, like, about us. Like, he comes home, like, exhausted, and he's so stressed out. And the fact that he still is, like, here, like, you guys have a room, and I'll take the couch, like, dang, like, that, it really made me feel from a very young age, I understand what it meant to be grateful for things, like, very quickly.
That's
like,
awesome.
I got it, you know? And so, though, since I always knew he was very stressed out, it kind of put this thing in my head. I'm like, all right, I don't want to be like that burden to my dad, which I know is like messed up to think, because your parents just care for you, you know, you're not a burden to them. But I was like, I need to like figure stuff out myself too, like, as
kinda
much
like
as step up as much as I can, you know. And my dad always spoke to me like as an adult, like, hey, like, no, like, you got to get it together in this life, like, you know what I mean, like, it's a doggy dog world, like, you know, like, do your education, like, continue to hustle. That's how I was raised. And so I was like, all right, like, you handle your stuff, like, you do as much as you can. Now I want to do as much as I can, so I don't have to give you that worry, because, you know, there's so many kids like who are so just stupid. They're like, they don't know what's going on, but
there
like,
are a lot of
growing
stupid
up,
kids out
I was
there.
like, I don't have that luxury to be like, oh, la 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 la, I don't know, my dad will do it for, like, you know. I didn't have that. Like, I had to make sure I knew what I was on top of my stuff. So having that mentality made me feel very like isolated, because I felt like I had to grow up a lot quicker, so it was hard for me to have friends in school and things like that. I would like to hang out with the adults, with the teachers, you know. So just kind of having like that dad being a single parent, living with him, seeing him struggle, really is what made me like kick it into gear, like, all right, like, you gotta,
and
like,
that's what I said when I say like I didn't know your age, because I thought you, because you're so mature, so I assumed you're older. I do want to ask you a question. It's a personal question. In relations to your mom, it seemed like there was a detachment. Why was that?
So with my mom, as I said, I've always been a daddy's girl, because I've mainly been living with him my entire life. He was the one who stepped up and was there, and I am so grateful to God for that he didn't leave us like so many dads could easily have done, you know, and they do. My mom, on the other hand, though, like I said, you know, she's young and she still wanted to go out. I can't even tell you how many boyfriends I have met that have come in and come out of her life and things like that. She wanted to go out. She wanted to have that, you know, still relive her youth type of thing. And so I never was able to develop that bond with my mom, you know, like normal mother-daughter relationships have. I've never been like, oh yeah, like my mom's my best friend, like that's her, like, you know, I died for her. It just, that bond has never ever been there. And so growing up though, like she wasn't like completely like just, oh, like she left, like, or whatever. I mean, there were some times where I was like, I don't know, like, you know, you know, but she, like I said, when you don't develop that bond with your child, like from being young, you can't expect that. Here I am 19 now, like I don't have that with her. I don't even really speak to her, you know.
Does that make you sad?
It used to. Yes, it used to, because like especially Mother's Days, like this was like the second or third Mother's Day I think I haven't been with her, and so it used to be really difficult for me, because I was like,
do you like send texts, or like are you able to communicate? Do you still communicate with her?
So with that, like I said, it's been a struggle my whole life, like with her, you know, very difficult, like feeling anger. I'm like, you weren't there for me when like stuff went down, like, you know what I mean, like when, for like at the times like I was open with you and raw to you, like, you know, I was like, you weren't there for me, like you just didn't care, you know. And it was very selfish, you know. And so, but now though, I'm like, now that I'm older, and honestly, thank goodness I've been going to church and stuff like that, you know, getting closer to God has really helped me just be like, you know what, like she did the best that she could and that she knew how. And she, you know,
I don't mean to cut you off. That response is so graceful. Like I feel like, because Bianca, personally, I still struggle with resentment towards my mom. Because I didn't have. So my mom, like I told my viewers that she done drugs like most of my whole life. So I was actually adopted, and the woman that adopted me actually took care of her. So she's kind of like grandma age. So we didn't even really have that mother to son relationship as most healthy people who adopt people, I assume. So I still, even when speaking to my mom now, which we're on good terms, I still have this sense of resentment when I speak to her, and I find myself getting a little angry. I need to go to therapy. So I find myself getting angry. But it's good that you have this graceful response to her, and like I want to get there, because that's something where I'm still going through with.
Honestly, trust me, it took me a long time to get there, because with her, like I was, like I said before, like honestly, I came to church and stuff like that, like that's how I calmed down, because before I was like, I've been trying my whole life to get that relationship with you, and you're just always talking smack, you're always doing this, and me, I'm like, you know, I'm feisty, like if I see something wrong, I'm gonna say it, like I'm gonna be like, hey, like I didn't appreciate you did, like I didn't like that, like I'm gonna go off, you know. But as time went on, and honestly, thank goodness to my dad too, he's really like reeled me back in. I just kind of was like, you know what, like, you can't like get mad at someone. Like, she has her whole past. She has a whole life before me that I don't know about. She has her own hurts, her own issues that, you know, I don't even know. And when someone's not okay, when someone doesn't, you know, have that love for themselves, that love in their life, she has no family. She completely got rid of them. She has like barely any friends. Like, you know what I mean? She's completely isolated herself. What can you expect of a person like that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And so now, for example, like you were asking me if I message her or whatever, like on Mother's Day, this past Mother's Day, I was like, me in the flesh, if I were to message her, it would not be well. It would not be nice. I'm gonna be honest with you, you know, because I get my moments where I'm very angry as well. But I honestly, what I do, I was like, I pray about it. I'm like, Lord, like, you, Holy Spirit, like, speak through me, speak for me right now, because I can't do it myself.
I love that you found contentness in God, and those voids that you have gone through in your life of having to grow up, you're able to kind of feel religion and God in Him, and prayer and meditation with Him to kind of feel that. And that's in my journey along as well. It's definitely brought a healing sense. I can tell you, dude, honestly, without God, I don't think I would not be as close to my family at all. Like,
I agree.
When I went to church, changed my life. I could not, and I never thought things will heal in my relationship, my family, for me being so much, going through so much trauma. I just can't believe that God like healed it, and now we're like co-ascending, you know, like we're communicating, we're like we're in the same room, you know. And I one thing I am really, 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 really grateful of, like, church and just knowing God to kind of feel that hurt, you know. So
definitely,
it's so good to kind of relate to someone to hear that.
No, and the great thing about that is actually, because like I said, growing up, I never felt like, oh, like I had that mom that was my best friend and things like that. And that always, like, you know, as a girl, like, you want that. You want to be able to have your mom you could talk to, like, oh my gosh, guess what, whatever. But I never felt that close with my mom to do that. So coming to church, actually, like, I feel like church is more than just like a place to go, like, I just go sit down, worship the Lord. And then
I'm sorry, we didn't even tell our viewers we met in church.
Oh yeah,
so,
we met in church.
That's how
so
we knew each other.
So you know everyone in church, and so I take like all those women that I met in church. They have helped me fill that void of feeling like I don't have that mom.
Shout out the secret place.
You know what I mean? The secret place. Veronica's my mom. Erica's my mom. Like, everyone's my mom in there. You know, Maritza, like, all of them, all the ladies in there have been able to, like, you know, fill that void for me. I'm like, I have a bunch of women now that I can go to. Like, how beautiful is that?
That's
you know,
awesome.
So I don't feel like as like alone and all sad anymore. Like, everyone in that secret place is my family. I have my
That's
tios,
good.
my tias.
Hey, y'all go to church. Y'all need to go to church, y'all listen, because y'all can get healing. Y'all can get. All right.
If your church don't feel like that, you're going to the wrong church.
That's so funny. Right now, guys, we're gonna take a quick short break, and we'll be back for more. Stay tuned. Hey guys, we're back. All right, we're here. Bianca.
Hello.
Okay, so look, real talk, like, okay, isn't growing up being like a total lie?
Growing up, a total lie.
Like, it's a trick, right? Like, I just felt like you had all these expectations, but I think
High School Musical was a big lie to me. High school, that's where all the lying started, honestly.
First of all,
and ever since then, it's been downhill.
It's been downhill. Like, growing up fast is like really hard, because I feel like myself, I grew up a lot faster. Being someone who's grown up in a system, not necessarily the system, but being a part of not really having a lot of things, like, not that people are normal, families are normal, but not having like actual parents and like that kind of structure. I had to be like really independent at an early age. I lived on my own since I was 17. I don't know if so I knew the bus routine like back of my hand. Like, I was about that bus life. And it took me actually Nate, guys, my producer here is Nate. Nate, say hello.
What's up?
Maluma looks like. I'm sorry.
Nate, like, me and Nate known each other for years, and Nate, you knew how long I didn't have a car, like, and he never asked me or anything. He would just like pick me up, but that came in ties of the struggle. Like, when you have your parents, you're able to kind of like, you don't have to pay rent. You can help invest, like burn your own car. Not to say that your parents didn't help you with a car. I don't know your situation, but just an example, but I'm thankful for like friends. Like, I'm able to like, hey, can you pick me up? Like, things like that. So yeah, I know you've seen that side of my life, like early on in my 20s.
And then how happy he was when he got his first car. Wait, Was I shopping with you when you guys?
Yes! Oh my God, you were.
Yeah.
Yes, that's such a throwback. Oh, I love you, bro. That was such a long time
I
ago.
drove you to the.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
God, oh my God, that was such a long time ago.
Now that I think about it, and I know exactly where that was too. Well, I don't know exactly.
It was in West Covina, like the San Dimas.
San Dimas.
Yeah. Kia. Was it a Kia?
It was a Kia.
Yeah.
No, it was the
no.
first car you had.
I forgot what it was.
I don't know what car.
Yeah, you did. I totally forgot.
Hyundai, probably.
Hyundai. Yeah. Oh my God.
Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Lamborghini.
I remember I was so nervous when I was driving. I was so nervous. I was like driving weird.
Behind me, yeah.
Yeah, but it was cool though. So like things like that. And I know for someone like you, Bianca, like you coming from a divorced family. Well, first and foremost, I want to say to our viewers, what I see, what you and your father got is so beautiful.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
they're guys. They are nerds. They laugh together. They hang out anytime they can. I see them drive up and they're like singing together. I'm like, y'all are so weird. But like low key cries inside because that's what I want. But I'm just like, I love the relationship
He's my
with your
best
dad.
friend.
That's
honestly.
awesome,
I love
dude.
him with all my heart. If he goes, I tell him I go too. Like I'm done.
That's
Like,
awesome. So you
know?
like, so there's really like no off limits when it comes to your dad, right?
No. I mean, there's really not. I mean, obviously, sometimes you're like, oh, like that's my parent, but like, he knows me. I'm like joking around the car. Like I keep things real with him. Even the way I keep it real with my friends, I keep it real with him, and he keeps it real with me.
That's
and we've
awesome.
established that bond since I was little.
That's
you
good.
know. So I've
never seen observe a relationship that anyone, all my friends are people I encountered, the relationship that you have with your dad. It's so unique. It's so special. It's just beautiful because you guys are like weird. Even like when you're, you know how you go somewhere and you kind of like branch off? No, you guys still kind of like hang out and still like
he's
talk.
Like at my hip, sometimes I'm like, all right, go like mingle.
Right?
Like,
No.
okay.
And I see you guys like laughing up a
I
storm.
know we have like handshakes and
Oh
little
my
inside
God,
jokes
you're just
together
too
and
much.
things like that.
With the growing up, do you feel like growing up fast, do you feel like, because without having your mother like consistent in your life, what are some things that you have to focus on growing up a lot faster as being a woman?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, I see you.
Like, did you, like, especially like,
so when I was little, right, growing up, my dad, he would really try his best to, brush my hair, to do my hair. And, bless his heart, he tried his best. But honestly, it always just went to putting a cap on, sticking my hair through the hole in the back. He couldn't even tie it up. And so growing up, I definitely was like a tomboy.
Really?
I was like total, I know. Right, you would never guess.
Sporty?
Calm down.
No, like ugly. Like just looking like a mess.
That's
just
funny.
T-shirts, jeans, like whatever. I was, my friends were boys. I preferred boys over girls any day. Like I liked men, and I think, but I also had like a little hater thing for women because of my mom. But that's a whole nother thing.
But
So-
on that, I just want to highlight. So you had some form of like a trust issue with females, like
yes,
a
I did.
distrustment.
I definitely did. I like really disliked women. I hated being a woman myself, even. So with that, your like question is, I kind of had to learn how to like be like feminine.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like I really did, because I was always hanging with boys. I want to be rough like the boys, like like just get it. So I had to learn to soften myself up a bit, how to be a little lady, or even I had to learn how to be okay with being a girl in the first place. Not that I ever went to the extreme where I'm like, oh, I want to be a transgender. Like, no.
That's
like,
deep, though. That's
yeah,
real.
Like, it never was like that. Like, where I'm like, oh, I want to, like, do surgery. No, but I was, like, mad that I was a girl. I was like, why do I have to be a girl? This is the dumbest thing ever. Like, women suck. I was like, women are the dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hated women.
Really?
I hated women. I hated the fact that I was a woman. I was like, I wish I was a man, so I could, like, be, like, cool, like, just be a guy. Like, how awesome
Do you
is
feel like
that?
you were missing out a lot because you were a girl and didn't have like a woman in your life?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I wish I could have like had like those moments like, oh, like, the mom and daughter.
Okay,
like,
we got to change. The fails are coming up. Sorry.
Like the mom and the daughter could like get their nails done together, and like, oh, like we go to this places together, that places together. And not gonna lie, I don't mean to put my mom under the bus, making it seem like she was completely absent. She was there when she was there when I had my school place. She did my makeup, she did that stuff, right? Which is really beautiful, and I am so grateful for the times that she really was there for me when I really needed her, like in school musical. She was good at that. She loves musical and plays herself, so she was amazing at helping me with that. I will definitely say that. But I think more of just having that bond, you know what I mean, instead of just having every now and again those nice moments, I miss having those, like, that just relationship, and so I feel like I did kind of miss out on having like a girl's best friend. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like their mom. Like,
I think
you know.
like for me, because I'm a guy growing
Mm-hmm.
up in like I grew up in an all girl household. I have like 5 sisters, and I had like there was really all women. So I didn't really have a male figure in my life, hence
Mm-hmm.
the feminine. But so with that, you know, I had to like hygienic wise, like
Yeah.
as a male, like learn things on my own.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the craziest things was like, I know this is really open, but like when I went through puberty and I
Yeah.
seen that my body changed, I was very confused, and
Yeah.
I didn't really knew how to express that, and I didn't feel comfortable at that point
Yeah.
expressing it to a woman. So I remember it was like it did get to like we're not really family, like, you know, black people are Latino, they like, you know, cousin or
Yeah,
uncle.
like, you're-
So I
yeah.
remember like we're not that close, but me having it going up, and I was like, why is this like this? Like,
Yeah.
why is hair growing there?
Okay.
So I was like, and I remember he explained to me,
Yeah.
and then also was at the point where like you started to like, as like your balls drop, like you started to produce. Yeah, it was that deep.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember I didn't
Hey,
have
it's real talk, real
someone
talk.
to talk to about, and I remember like
Yeah.
my body was like I was wake up from like wet dreams, and I was like so confused.
Yeah.
Like when you're like certain bodies. So I remember like that
Yeah.
was happening, and I remember I was not that I was scared. I just didn't know how to like I didn't know what's happening. Not like we had
Yeah.
Google accessible. Guys, I'm 30. We didn't have Google accessible like
Yeah.
back then, so I couldn't like Google. So I remember like going to someone like, hey, what's going on? Why is this
Yeah.
happening? And then I take it back. One of my sisters brought me a book,
Okay.
and it was about like growing up, and it was like a puberty book.
Yeah.
I learned so much about myself from that book, because it touched on puberty. It touched on topics like masturbating. It touched on things like just how to like what you're gonna look for growing through
Yeah.
this stage, because that stage was very like new and confusing. Not that it was confusing, I just didn't know what was happening. And I
Yeah.
remember being like 12, 13, it was just like, what the heck is going on? Like it was like I don't know, 12, 11, one of those. So and that book kind of helps. I was thankful for one of my older sisters to give me that. And I remember just like in the mornings during that age, it was bad. Like, don't come into the room. Like, I was just like,
Go away.
it's the morning. And I'm like, I can't give you a hug. You know, and I was like, I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm feeling like this. So, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. So that's something
I
like.
relate to that. So I mean, well, no, not to
Oh, I was like,
your
oh, really?
mornings, but
You wanna tell us something?
The girl version of that. No, that's funny you say that, because you just like brought me back to a moment when I was with my dad, and so I was same thing young, like I was starting to get older. I think I was in like the 6th grade.
Yeah.
And like, you know, they start talking about like, all right, like periods and things like that. And so they're like, and then you're gonna start to get like discharge and all this stuff. And I remember the first time like that happened to me, I was at a yard house with my dad and I went to the bathroom and I was like started crying. I was like, Dad, like I saw like these things like on my underwear. And then he's like, it's my dad, like what does he know what to do? He's like don't worry, he's like that's not what it is, like like he completely was like nope, like that, ignore it, like you
That's
know what I mean.
funny.
And so see, that's what I mean, like in those moments I'm like, dang, like it would have been nice if I had like my mom there to be like, hey mom, like by the way, like
Yeah.
I'm seeing like these things
Yeah.
like, you know, this is happening, right? What is
Yeah.
that? So, you know, and having, like I said, like always wanting that double parent household. Like I'd see my friends like, oh yeah, I can go to my mom for this, and then I could go to my dad for that. I'm like, it's just all my dad, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean, for a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember just like sitting back, because we used to have like a daycare, so I used to see like people pick up their parents pick up their kid,
Yeah.
and that used to like really hurt me a lot, because I didn't have that relationship.
No, me too. Yeah.
I used to get the door. It'd be like Ed Sheeran in the background, like I'd be just like
I'm all like crying,
crying.
like wow, like both of their
Like,
parents get
tryna,
to pick
like,
them up, like that's cool.
like just trying to hold it in. But yeah,
Yeah.
and it's funny that we can laugh at that, because internally I'm crying. But that used to be something I'm going through. But you know, you just grow up in a lot of areas,
Yeah.
like just being self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And then me living on my own, it was like really cool. Like not cool, but I had to learn like to cook. That was really difficult. Like
Yeah,
I still struggle today.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, to cook. Oh, my dad, he tried his best. You know, thank you, Papa, for doing your best in cooking, but it was terrible. Okay, like
That's funny.
his cooking was really bad.
now, are you someone who know how to cook now?
Yes, now I cook. Like I see my dad touching the meat, I'm like, go away. Like
Go away.
let me cook. Like I got this. You know.
What's your favorite dish?
My favorite dish for like me to
To
cook.
cook, yeah.
To cook. Oh, I love cooking my steak, potatoes, and asparagus.
Uh-oh.
That is my favorite.
That's a good
Or
meal,
I
too.
also make you guys. I make some bomb empanadas.
Ah.
Okay, let me tell you something. They take hours to make, but they're made with so much love and it's worth it. So-
Like Portos type empanada?
no, they're called empanadas árabes. They're like They're from like Argentina.
Argentinian. Okay. Yes. Okay. I love
Those
those.
I learned, and oh my gosh, they're amazing. I could eat like a dozen, like easy.
That's funny.
I made those for a 6th grade project where I did a whole project on Argentina, and it was all about Messi and the Argentinian empanadas.
Really?
Yeah.
See, oh, so good.
Yeah.
They're so bomb.
That's so funny. Oh my god, that's
So
good.
those are my favorite things to make for sure.
Oh my god, that's so crazy.
And grilled cheese, the
Grilled
classic-
cheese.
the classic grilled cheese.
I can
go
make
back.
a good ass bowl of cereal. So what you do? No, real talk. There is like a
lying.
measurement of cereal.
You have
Then
the
you have to pour the
ratio.
mug. Yeah, the ratio. That's really
Okay.
important. The
Okay.
spoon level, the spoon measurement, weight, capacity.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that goes into
What kind
work.
of cereal though? Is
I
your
mean, we
favorite?
have a variety. As
Okay.
a cereal connoisseur,
Yes,
I
see.
like to think that like Lucky Charms and like the
Ooh,
new
I
like
think Lucky
Captain Crunch. The Captain
Trash.
Crunch be tearing your mouth up. The top shit, man, like like war.
Captain Crunch is good.
But it'd be like the top part, like all sore and stuff. Like I'd be eating
Really?
it.
Maybe
yeah.
you're like allergic. or
Yeah,
something.
that's
No,
probably
like
I don't
the-
think that doesn't sound normal to
doesn't sound
me.
normal.
No, like the
I'm
rough.
like,
Okay,
the top of my mouth, like no.
that's good.
honey bunches of oats or nothing.
Oh, yeah.
else.
Oh,
Honey Bunches
honey
are
bunches
good.
of oats.
With
That's what's up.
almonds.
You feel
Yes.
all healthy after that. You're like.
That's awesome.
I was thinking of that woman in the commercial.
The black one, right?
The black lady.
She's always yelling. She's like,
I
"We
love
just
her.
hungry." Like, she,
I
do
wish
like-
I want
she's
her
been
to be
around
my
for
family.
years too. I remember like growing up seeing her. She's still doing
She
the
a real
commercial.
one. She's
Right?
my childhood.
Right?
I want to meet. I want to give her a hug.
Oh my god, that's awesome. All right, guys, it's been fun right now. Right now, we're gonna take one more quick break, and when we come back, we'll be doing our fishbowl.
Yes.
Stay tuned. Keep it locked. Hey guys, we are back, and we're on to our final segment, fishbowl. Bianca, you are my guest,
Okay.
so you can answer our first fishbowl question.
All right,
Let's go.
awesome.
Get it, girl.
All right. All right.
Let's see.
Oh my gosh, you're writing, Rob.
Okay, it's like angry all the time. I'm
we gotta
left-handed.
work on that
Yeah.
penmanship. You're looking like you're a little mad. They have lines for a reason, bro.
Is that what those were?
Did he go right on the line?
He's like all over the place. Like, you know, when,
Oh,
like,
you
a
guys
serial
write in between the
killer is, like-
lines? I just did. Okay.
Okay, crazy. Okay. How did your finances change while growing up fast? I answer that first?
Yeah.
Okay. I see. So, not gonna lie. I've been very fortunate and very blessed to have my father, to be such a hard worker. Like I said, growing up, you asked me, oh, do you guys struggle with money? I would have never guessed in a million years that we did, because my dad, like I said, one point he was
Wow.
working 3 jobs. He kept it under wraps so well. Like, I was still able to go to trips to DC with school. Like, he never wanted me to miss out on an
That's
opportunity, you know, which
awesome,
I'm
dude.
so blessed and grateful for. But I would say that when stuff really started to, like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I mean? There was a time when I wasn't living with my dad. I wasn't living with my mom. I was living with my aunt, and I was working in Starbucks. And so at that point, you know, there was a lot of drama going on. I was mad at my dad. My dad was mad at me. Like, I mean, my mom was mad at everyone. Like, you know, it was a mess. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, my dad, like, you know, like, I don't know if he's gonna, like, you know, it's not provide for me anymore. Like, you know, I have to live on my own now, probably. So that time really, like, kicked it into gear to me, where I was like, all right, like, it's time to save. Like, you, like, really gotta get your life together right now, you know. And that was when I was 17, you know, same thing as you. And
Yeah.
so that was really scary for me. So during that time, that's when I really, like, started learning about, okay, how to budget myself. This is what things cost. Like, this is, like, how living life alone is, you know. And so that was like, nowadays, like, if something's more than $10, I'm like, hold on, let me think about it. You know what I mean? I'm like all about, like, you know, getting those deals. So,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
funny. I think for me, like, I never had the luxury of not, like, when I get a check, to freely spend the whole check. It's always been like I had to, like, pay for my rent or pay for my car note. So I never really had that chance to have full. Well, one time, you know, tax season came around one time a year, you know.
Okay.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. One year I claimed a mijo. I got paid that year.
You got money.
And I think, like, those are, like, the seasons where I actually was able to, like, splurge and like
Yeah.
that. But, you know, I've been I have great work ethics. My coworkers are listening. They're like, no, he doesn't.
Yeah,
No,
they're
so
like, liar.
so I always
Mentiroso.
found myself in a very good job because I didn't finish school. So I always
Okay.
work really hard to have a good job. So these jobs I get are, like, well paid. I usually,
Yeah.
like, one job had a salary. Like, so I always work hard to get the finances that I need. So
Yeah.
that's just something that I always try to, like, aim at. But yeah, so other than that, it's
Yeah.
never, well, it's kind of a struggle, but now it's not a struggle. So
Yeah,
back-
that's good.
Early on,
That's
it's
good.
good. All right, next question. Ooh, It says, who do you blame? Okay, so who do you blame for showing you something you shouldn't have known about
Oh my gosh.
at a young age? Oh,
Ooh, man,
let's
this is
see.
a lot.
That's
Who do
my
I-
question.
Man, okay, like real talk. Let me see. Who introduced me to porn? No,
I know.
I think.
Who was that?
Let me see.
Oh, I already know who.
I mean, not even like
I'm not gonna
related to
say
that.
her name, but
Like, well, I can say growing up, like alcohol was never really like introduced or drugs. So I was very fortunate enough to like
Okay.
not be associated with that.
Nice.
Even though I kind of know of it, I still
Yeah.
wasn't. And I always had that mentality not to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
So surprisingly, when I was 18, that was the first time someone like brought alcohol around and like they were like,
Really?
"Oh, you should drink this," and it was like a big step. And I'm like, "Okay, I'll try it."
Yeah.
And I remember just being so lit, like I was drunk.
like,
the
this is
first
amazing.
and I remember feeling the feeling of being drunk. I was like, felt like I was falling. I couldn't get back up. Like I just continued falling. And that was the first time. And I just thought that was such
Wow.
a different influence, like in my life.
Okay.
And ever since then, it just opened the door to chaos. And I just
can
been downhill since.
I see Rob. I see.
No. But now it's like, you know, like moderated, like whenever
Yeah.
I go out and fun. But that, I know that's like not really like what people expect to spirit, but literally I have not been around anything like that. Like those type of
Wow.
influences as a young kid, which I know like what surprised me when I go to people's house, how they drink in front of their kids, things like that. See, that never
Yeah.
happened at all. I never witnessed
Wow.
anything like that. So I was like, when I go there, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And I used to think like, low-key, I used to judge them, like, what? They're drinking in front of kids? Bad
Yeah.
parenting? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you haven't been around Latinos enough. It's like,
Right.
That's like at the baby showers.
Oh my
Like just a
gosh.
bunch of modelos.
That's funny. Okay, next question.
Okay.
Surprised you didn't go with Corona first. Good way to go to Modelo.
Oh no, yeah, my dad loved Corona. I used to joke around and say like Corona runs through my veins, like not because like I was like a little alcoholic, but you know it was just so popular to drink amongst family. That's why.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm not trying to make it sound like I was in a bad home. Let's see. What was the hardest thing you had to go through alone growing up?
Ooh, I feel like we covered some key points,
I think so too. Yeah.
especially with the whole puberty stage. Like,
Yeah.
that was really hard.
But I think also for me, like, I don't know, I don't want to be like too much of a drag
Oh,
with this, but it's true. It's real, right? We're keeping it real here.
Yeah.
So I
Transparent.
think right. And here we go. I think the hardest thing I had to go through alone was when I was molested. That was really difficult for me because it happened when I was young, right? So, but I was so young, but I remember it so vividly. But I remember thinking like I didn't even know about like that was wrong. Like that's how
Yeah.
little and innocent I was. I was like,
Oh,
oh, like
man.
I didn't know. And until finally I grew up and I was a sophomore in high school. So I was like 16.
Yeah.
And I remember in class, I was taking a class and they were talking about like molestation and rape and stuff like that. And it just really like hit me like a wall. I was like, oh my
Really?
gosh. I was like, that happened to me. Like I finally like connected the dots. Like years later, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's what that babysitter did. That's exactly
Oh my
what it was.
gosh.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I just started crying. Like, and so, but like I said, at the time, I didn't tell my mom, my family, nothing until I was 18. You know what I mean? So years later that I finally told them. But for that whole time, like I was dealing with that alone by myself because I was like, I don't know, people are gonna think like no one's gonna believe me, or it was too long ago, maybe they'll think I don't remember, or I'm being
Yeah.
dramatic, or I'm looking for attention, you know what I mean? So I would say for sure that was one of like the hardest things to deal with alone. And you know, at the time, like you're 16, you have your friends, sure, but like they're like, oh, like, well, we love you, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's only so much they can do for you,
Oh my
you know?
gosh.
So it was really like it was hard, you know, to
No,
kinda, like,
I mean, obviously, you know, and first and foremost, you know, I'm so sorry
Yeah.
you have to go through something like that, especially as a woman. And I find it is very common, like women hold on to this and
Yeah.
with the realization. I had a very, very similar situation to you. Not, unfortunately, it happened more than once to me. And the second time was just like yours, what I didn't really like know.
yeah.
And I remember I was somewhere and we were talking about it and I put two and two together and I was like, wait a minute. And I'm laughing from crying right now. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That
n-
happened.
Yeah, isn't that weird when it happens? You're like, oh, that's interesting. Like,
Yeah. And the first time Yeah, it happened a lot. So I mean, it
Yeah.
happened just twice to me, unfortunately. That even happened once.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be another topic. But I definitely can relate to that, and that's one of
For
the most
sure.
hardest thing that any individual, either sex, can go through. You know?
Yeah, and like I said, I don't want to be growing up. I never want to be that burden
Yeah.
on my family. So I already like kind of kept it like to myself. I was like, oh, like I don't want to be like that extra stress to my dad.
And that's so, and you know, it's so unfortunate because like that's, man, that topic is just like it can go
Yeah.
like so much. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like,
I'm sorry about you. we'll cry about it later.
okay,
together.
thanks. We'll put that in after this
We'll
podcast.
we'll go to therapy after.
But real talk, guys. For anybody that's going through something like that or has been through anything like that, do know that speaking to someone is a safe haven that you can
Please,
open up,
sooner
and
than
that
later.
healing really comes from that. So if you're going through something like that and been through, please talk about it. Find someone that you can trust and consult with,
Yes.
and really know that they're going to help you get through it. And please know that you're not alone. Just
Yeah.
like how we uncover this moment,
Exactly.
that's something that you guys can cover if
You
anyone
know
else
the
listens to this.
name, the face,
Yeah.
get him.
Yeah.
too.
We love you guys.
That's the thing I wish I could do. at
You know
this
the
point.
name,
I
the
wish I
face.
could find that girl again and be like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So we're going to just move on to our next question.
Anyways, moving on.
Oh, this one says, does growing up fast make you sad?
Oh, of course.
Right?
Of course it does. It's so sad. I feel like it's very sad. It's very frustrating, especially because like I was mentioning a little bit before, like growing up, I could not relate to others for the life of me. I'd be like, you know, like I feel like I was in a whole different planet than other kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my gosh, like you guys are talking about this stupid stuff. Like you don't even understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you get to go on this stuff. You get to do that. Like, but
Yeah.
like you don't even know. And so for me, it was really crappy because I often felt very alone, like growing up, even all the way up through high school.
Yeah.
Like I felt just super isolated and like no one understood me.
Yeah.
So that's the part that made me obviously very sad, you know?
That's crazy. I think, you know, for me, it makes me sad because I feel like I have to. And I'm like, dang, like a lot of people at my age have to enjoy their lives or do things on their own. And for
Yeah.
me, being so proficient and like having to work or just having to really take care of myself, one, I wasn't financially able to do things, or two, I just really couldn't because of the time, or I just couldn't relate to people in that way to enjoy certain things because I'm so above that. And, you know, going back to that, I just want to share, I think a lot of times that I think that in a lot of ways my personality is a little bit immature because I try to relate. I have younger friends that I relate to because I missed out on a lot of things during that age bracket. So I try to relate to them at that age.
Yeah.
And I think I easily connect with people that way. I'm drawn to them because a part of my mentality is like I'm there because I missed those times in my life. So I try to relate to people in that way, and I kind of like hang out with like a younger, like a little bit younger than me because most people don't know I'm 30. Like I hang around like for example, you're like
I'm
19.
Yeah.
We never really personally, we hung out. You came to my house, but
Yeah.
it's like I'm around that because I feel somewhat comfortable because during that age of like from 17 all the way to like 24 was a very crucial life where I wasn't enjoying the things that you guys were enjoying. I was enjoying to try to take care of my life, like get it together. So now I kind of take time to like stay there. And I always felt like a part of my mentality is very immature because I'm reflecting on the years that I missed.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. I'm working fishing. I live my own. I got a nice car
I
too.
know, honestly though, like same thing like with me, like I just don't take life too seriously because I'm like, oh, like what's the point? Like I've seen like my, you know, my
Yeah.
dad, those struggles. I'm like, you can't, like I just want to, like if I spend my whole life like being down and be like, oh, like poor me, poor this, because of my childhood, because of the way I grew up, I have to be all that. Like, oh, like I'm so over that stuff when people like use. So I'm just like, just have fun, just
Yeah.
enjoy your life. Don't take things too seriously. Like
Yeah.
we're all gonna die anyways. Like
Yeah.
life's good. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
I said, because you just be grateful for what you do have. Like just the fact that I'm alive, I'm breathing. Like what am I gonna be mad about? Like
Yeah.
calm down. Like
That's
you know,
good.
it's not that serious.
That's good advice. That's awesome. So we're gonna just stop here, Bianca. I just honestly, I really thank you so much for coming on. Your energy is awesome.
having me.
Thank you for sharing all your good details
Yes,
today.
yes,
It was fun. Do you have any closing remarks today?
No, I just want to say thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate that. You know, I was a little nervous obviously beforehand because I didn't know what to expect, but this was very comfortable, you know, to come on here and to talk about it. And even some things that, you know, sure are very difficult to discuss, that I felt, you know, it's just so comfortable to talk about it and at ease here. And, you know, same thing, like when people are, if anyone's listening, you're going through stuff, it's so important to have that one person. I think you and I can both agree that to have that one person that you can always go to, that you can always trust, you know, and to, like you said, both of us, we have so much fun with life. And I think that's really helps a lot too.
Yeah.
You know, like don't let things like really like bring you down, you know, count your blessings and, you know, everything's going to be okay. You have
That's
so much to be
awesome.
grateful for that you don't even realize. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate that. And now, just my closing remarks. You guys, in some cases, people have to grow up faster than others, but find time to just enjoy your life, where you're able to just live your life and have fun, not take it so serious. I do kind of regret in moments in my life that when I had to grow up, I felt like I had to be more stern or more strict on certain topics in my life, but I knew I had to grow up more. But now I regret it because I could have had more fun during that time. There's nothing wrong with that. And just with that, guys, continue to have fun. And like my guest Bianca's mentioned, that just enjoy. If you have moments where you need to share things, talk to someone. Connect with someone and just go from there. But thank you so much, Bianca. Thank you again. In the future, I would love to have you on for another episode.
I would love to be back. Yes,
you guys look forward
to
that.
All the time.
That's awesome. You guys keep it locked. We have a great episode coming next week, and I'm really excited. And if you guys ever have any questions or want to be a guest on my podcast, please DM me or hit me up to be one of the guests and come up with a topic. We're looking for more audience. So thank you so much. And again, this is Transparency, Robert Smith. Have a good evening, guys. Peace.
Bye.